So, I'm here today primarily because of my faith in God and the journey and how I got here, right? I'm going to give you kind of a brief elevator pitch of how I got here, and then what, giving to this church in terms of money, time, and talent means to me and means to the church. So, I was born in Massachusetts. I was raised in Kansas. I grew up in Kansas in a church, Episcopal church called St. Luke's. My dad was a Baptist and my mom was Episcopalian, so we ended up going to Episcopalian church. I went to high school, went to college, was in the Navy for 11 years, and then I came here and I found Joan during my last part. So I met Joan in '92, we got married in '94. So doing the quick math, we've been married almost 20 years in a couple weeks.
Wow.
So this is my journey, how I got here. Now, in terms of how I got to St. Andrews, we had Kyle, who was born in '98, and we started going church shopping. It was important to both Joan and I that we find a church. And through my travels, have gone to multiple churches. I've been to Church of Christ and United Methodist and Baptist and some, just a bunch of different faiths. But I always seem to come back to the Episcopal Church because the Episcopal Church is where I'm comfortable. I like the ceremony, I like the services, I like what happens in the Episcopal Church. It gives you the opportunity, as Skip had mentioned before, to look at the diversity, and it's the structure is good for me. But most importantly, it's my faith in God. This is what centers me. This is why I come here. I need to rejuvenate myself every now and then. The other part that I've learned in my journey is that everything has come from God. I mean, everything. I graduated from the University of Kansas with a bachelor's degree in physics. Now, I don't tell you that to brag. I tell you this to my understanding in science. We don't know what's going on. When you start getting past Newtonian physics and things that you experience in the world, the higher level you go, the more you find is the more that we don't know. We don't know what the cosmos is. We don't know what life is. And this is where my faith comes in. I say, who else could do this? This is an amazing world that we live in. And I love being here. And part of my faith journey and part of being who I am is trying to give back what God has given me, which is everything. And last week, we had the wonderful sermon about what God's gifts were. That's what we are. So now we get to the difficult part. Talking about money. In the Bible, we look at and say, well, tithing. Tithing was an Old Testament concept that was brought forward in the New Testament. Now, I'm not here to give you a sermon here, but it's all about proportional giving. Give what you can. Time, talent, and money. And here, I've served on the vestry. I served as a junior warden. I've served as a warden. I helped put in the heating system. I didn't do this by myself. I did it through the community here. And it's important to me that as a community, we all give and give what we can so that we can survive. Our outreach is good, but in order for us to give that, we have to give more. And we have to give that portion so that we're not reliant on others. I'm sorry I'm going to get political here, but the federal government in Massachusetts isn't what God intended for us to care for our brothers. It's the church. And the government takes 20, 30, 40% of your earnings and supposedly gives back. But it's no near as efficient as giving to the church. Now, I lost my job. I was fired, let go, whatever you want to call it, a few years ago. And the church here had an unemployment group. Unbelievable. Lifted me up, kept me going, And now I have my own business and I'm doing IT consulting. This is what the church gave to me. It's my right. It's my obligation to give back to the church. Any questions? Amen.
Amen. Amen.